This is you, a witch, a silent protagonist, the questionable hero of this story, and your only way forward is down. This is how you die. Armed with 2 wands and a potion, your goal is to dive deep into the mountain to find a mythological treasure known as the Salt, which has the power to produce infinite flour, gold, and naturally salt, the 3 essentials in keeping any Finnish person alive. To get this treasure, you must endure 8 layers of literal hell, fighting tooth and nail against endless hordes of enemies who wish to see you die, and will hold no punches when it comes to stopping your descent. With your skill and knowledge, and a clever mix of spellcrafting, your journey of crushing any creatures who stand in your way, and turning them into pulped flesh and blood, begins. From the start of your first run, you'll most likely descend into the giant gaping hole in front of you, and for those of you who didn't, we'll get to that later, and be struck with the realization that you don't know what to do. Don't worry, because you have a wand, with a set of different spells which change with each seed. Some are really good, and some are not so good. At least, not by itself. Your second wand has a bunch of different explosive type spells. We'll get into it a little more in depth later, but basically this one you want to be using for shooting, and this one is used for digging or even burning. Lots and lots of burning. The best thing to do now is to kill as many monsters as you can for those sweet, sweet shekels, and explore all the fog of war. That way you don't miss anything on your travels. We'll talk about these things more later, but for now you can pick them up and, I guess, like drink them or throw them or whatever you want, really. You can find all sorts of other stuff, like fun and intriguing puzzles, chests with awesome loot, and health. You might have noticed you have 3 bars on the top of your screen: health, levitation, and wand mana. Levitation cannot be easily upgraded, but there are ways around it. And wand mana is related to your wands. But health, to see that number go up, you need it. That's your lifeblood, your soul, your connection to the Noita gods. So, as for now, finding as many hearts as you can early on will help when you inevitably make a mistake and need a lot of insurance. Once you get the hang of not dying, and maybe you happen to pick up a few goodies along the way, you'll finally make it all the way down. Welcome to the Holy Mountain, boasting a great 9 out of 10 safety rating so long as you don't piss off the landlords. Here, you'll find a heart, slightly different than the ones you may have seen, which grants 10 permanent HP and a full health restore. You'll also see this green diamond, and assuming you didn't find one earlier, this is a spell refresher, which refreshes all of your spells. Anyway, more importantly, you'll find a shop, where you can spend all those shekels on wands or spells. You also now have the ability to edit your wands. For now, sticking a bunch of shit on there and firing it is the best way to learn. Just be sure to read the spells before you do so. Further in, you'll find a small altar with 3, most importantly, free permanent perks. Some are pretty questionable, and some are downright overpowered. I recommend trying all of them out to find some potentially awesome combinations. However, if you hate the ones you have, you can pay for rerolls at this statue. The price doubles each time, so be careful with your money. I recommend staying here for a while and trying out your wands and messing with items. Just don't kill yourself on accident.
Mitä tässä nyt siis on? Se nyt pitää vittu jäädä.
I'll keep the wand crafting relatively brief because I trust in the intelligence of people and believe you'd all be able to do it on your own. But if you really want to dive in and try to just learn fast, you can consult the awesome, fan-made, and far more in-depth wiki site. Just know that most of your playing experience will be by trial and error. Also, figuring out cool combinations on your own is like half of the fun. Anyway, you have these wands, and each wand has stats. The spells all have stats too, but they follow the same rules as the wands. At least, most of them do. The wand stats are pretty self-explanatory. However, there are a few that you should really pay attention to. Shuffle, Castellet, and recharge time. Shuffle is whether the wand casts from left to right. If it shuffles, it casts spells randomly. Castellet is the time from when any projectile type spell in your wand is cast to when the wand will be able to cast the next one. Recharge time is the time it takes your wand to cycle back to the front of the spell queue to fire the spell chain again. While stocking up for your wands and exploring, you'll probably come across some of the different items in this deep cave, such as these green tablets, which are physics objects that can be used to smash bugs, and are also excerpts of ancient history, written entirely in Finnish ciphers. Broken wands can be thrown to cast random spells, and also used to reforge a new, and often fairly good, wand. Most importantly though, you'll find many different kinds of collectible liquids, any of which can be drank. You want to drink lava? Fine. How about vomit? That's fine too. Worm blood? Actually yes, you should be drinking worm blood. You can also eat lots of things, and however disappointing it is that you can't eat rocks, you can munch on grass like a cow, devour all the different kinds of mystery monster meat, and trick balls off random cave fungus you found on the floor. With how many different liquids there are around, you'll eventually find that mixing them can produce various results. From the mundane and helpful, to the potentially world-ending, you should try to combine everything you can and learn about their reactions. And the more you explore and test, the more likely you are to find your curiosity extremely well rewarded. I think knowing all of that is good enough to probably get you all the way down to the final boss, depending on how you build your wand and prioritize your items. The further down you go, you'll start to notice that some things are not exactly as they seem. That maybe these extremely dense walls are not so dense. Maybe you were one of the few who noticed this from the start, that the world seems so big and endless. What could it all mean? I'll tell you what it means. It's your chance. Your time to use this saved up knowledge and skill. It's time for domination. Okay, so similarly to the previous chapter, I want to leave a lot of this up to you, the player, to research or to attempt on your own. If you want to use the wiki or figure it out by yourselves, that's up to you. And to keep it that way, I'll try my best to be vague. In combination with your awesome wand crafting, a lucky set of perks, and some boss murdering, you'll be capable of infinite digging, infinite healing, and infinite flight, and so on. With these spells, you can travel the world quickly to explore the many other biomes. Outside of the main 9 that you go through, and the optional 6 you can access from within those layers, there are many, many more that you can visit. And infinite biomes in the sky, in hell, and on the east and western walls. Going through those walls leads to the parallel worlds, and as their name says, are parallel to your world, aside from a few small changes. You can now also attempt some of the very complicated quests, which of course are hidden behind the obscure in-game references like the tablets and books. I recommend just waiting until you have a solid grasp of just about everything the game has to offer before you try to do them. And watching some thorough how-to videos by people like Dunk or Slam. By this point, you are probably your own worst enemy. That and a couple very special enemies who can reflect damage, and that means you need to be mindful of how strong your wands are. Polymorphine is something to be mindful of that hasn't been brought up yet, and that is because you have probably experienced it plenty by the time you got here, and realized how miserable it is to deal with. Do not play with polymorphine. Basically, the gist of the game at this point is to try and complete whatever goal it is that you have set out to do. Whether it be some quest or to unlock some certain spell, or to even attempt the main boss with 11 orbs. Oh, yeah, orbs of true knowledge. Forgot to mention that. Around the world, there are 11 special little blue balls. Each one picked up unlocks a unique spell, and any further pickups grant 25 HP. When you pick up an orb, a small symbol and number will appear. Each one upgrades the final boss to an insane amount the more you collect, and there's no set cap on how many you can collect. Let your experimentation grow. Go wherever you want, see the beautiful sights in the outside world, visit the moon and the stars. Everything is now your sandbox. Nothing but your own greed and hubris can stop you. Which it probably will in the end. All that being said, it's safe to say that Noita is a brutal game. It punishes you for the smallest mistakes and will spit in your face and kick you while you're down. At the same time, it can be very rewarding and fun when you figure something out or complete a quest for the first time. It is available on Steam for $19.99 USD. There is literally endless potential in your wand combos and spell interactions, and just beating the game will take some time for the average player, let alone some, if not all of the quests. In my opinion, it is well worth the price tag. And if you didn't think it was worth your time, well, I guess you wouldn't be watching the videos still. And for those of you who are, thank you for your time. I appreciate you very much. I'm going to start branching out into things like Project Zomboid and Rust, Escape from Tarkov, and other multiplayer games with my friends. So stick around for all that. It's going to be fun. Anyway, this video is long enough now. Goodbye.